please call the roll.
Commissioner Beckles?
Here.
Commissioner Broadwater?
Here.
Commissioner Jones?
Here.
Commissioner Wynn?
Here.
Commissioner O'Connor?
Here.
Vice Chair Dalton?
Here.
Chair Beard?
Here. First item is oral communications. Any oral communications relating to the Housing Authority? Seeing none, move to item 2, consent items. Anyone care to pull anything?
Move to approve.
Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second it.
Call for the vote.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Okay, next item is public hearings. None. Number 4, items for consideration. None. Okay, any matters from the commissioners? Seeing none, move to adjournment. We're adjourned.
Okay, see you in a month.
Okay.
Okay. This is good. This goes to Housing Authority.
You didn't get the lower.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to call a Garden Grove City Council meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you please call a roll?
Councilmember Beard?
Here.
Councilmember Broadwater?
Here.
Councilmember Jones?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Wynn?
Here.
Mayor Dalton?
Here. Okay, we'll have the invocation by Kingsley Okereke, the Finance Director, and the Pledge of Allegiance by me.
Please prepare yourself according to your faith. Dear Lord, we humbly ask that you bless all who are gathered here this evening and the work we seek to do. Help us to see each other's service as complementary. Help us to work in harmony tonight as we seek to make the best decisions for our community. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Please join me in pledging allegiance to the flag of the greatest country in the world. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I see we have a presentation.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, and I'd like Mr. Okereke to make this business spotlight tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Fattel. Tonight, the Garden Grove City Council is pleased to present this business spotlight, highlighting the accomplishments of local business professionals. This evening's recognition goes to the Hyatt Regency Orange County, celebrating its 25th year in Garden Grove. Would Angela Palmer, Greg Smith, and General Manager Kevin Kennedy please come forward? Located on Harbor Boulevard, just minutes from many of Orange County's famous attractions, the Hyatt is an ideal resort hotel for families, business travelers, and vacationers alike. Yet, the real success comes from the over 300 associates working at the Hyatt. Angela Palmer and Greg Smith are two of those committed employees. Both have over 30 years of guest services experience under their belt. Originally operated by Princess Cruise Lines, the hotel first opened as the Princess Alicante. Knowing the hotel was an up-and-coming tourist destination, Hyatt Hotels and Resorts replaced the Princess Cruise Lines, and on Saturday, August 15, 1987, the doors of the Hyatt Regency Alicante opened. In 2001, following $52 million renovation, the hotel changed its name to the Hyatt Regency Orange County. The Hyatt has attracted hundreds of celebrities during its 25-year history in Garden Grove, including Muhammad Ali, Shaquille O'Neal, Stevie Wonder, Demi Moore, and President Ronald Reagan. In 2009, the public voted the Hyatt the most attractive large business in Garden Grove. The hotel was recognized at the annual Garden Grove Pride Awards ceremony. Staying current with their looks, the hotel completed a $25 million renovation in 2010. The project included upgrades on all guest rooms, meeting space, lobby, recreation deck, and also the fitness center. They were also able to add the Tusker restaurant and OC Brew House. The hotel is proud to be a part of the successful resort area here in Garden Grove, and equally as proud of the small town feel the community maintains. The Hyatt Regency Orange County was Garden Grove's flagship hotel in the resort area 25 years ago, and their continued high standards of quality and excellence in service make them the leaders in the industry today. In honoring the Hyatt Regency Orange County for their 25 years of success, economic benefits to the community, the mayor and city council would like to present Kevin Kennedy, Angela Palmer, Greg Smith with a certificate of recognition and a commemorative gift. The city of Garden Grove is honored to be saluting the Hyatt Regency Orange County this evening as an industry leader and true business success in our Garden Grove community.
Please come forward. Give this to the strongest. Thank you. Thank you very much for everything that you do. Thanks very much for everything you do for us. We really appreciate it. And we'll have a picture taken, and then if you'd like to say a few words, we'd love to have you do it.
You can center yourself a little bit so we can get a picture. Well, Dina's right behind you. If you can go to your...
You guys come over. You guys come over
go to
this
your
way.
left.
Over this way. There we go.
Okay. That's good. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor Dalton, City Council members, residents of Garden Grove, and guests. As we stand here before you, we are very honored to be recognized for our 25 years of successful business in Garden Grove. The hotel first took shape in 1985 and opened as a Princess Hotel. We quickly took over after that in 1987 in August, and both of these two team members here were on the opening team for the hotel and have been with the hotel, of course, since then. The hotel changed flags, and it's been a great thing for the ownerships that have owned the building since then, from Dr. Beecham to Tarsadia to Ashford to the current owners of Inland American. They are all very pleased with the product that they deliver here and the community in which we are in. We have been told by thousands of guests that we have a very beautiful and luxurious hotel. However, that's not what makes us successful. It is the over 300 employees that come in every single day and exceed the expectations of every guest every day. As we stand right here, we have two wonderful examples of that. Angela Palmer has been a concierge at our hotel for 25 years, but she's been with the company for 34 years and has done a tremendous job for us. And I can't even tell you the tens of thousands of positive comments that we've received from our guests over the years. So congratulations, Angela. Greg Smith, one of our lead bellmen at the hotel, opened the hotel. However, he's also been with Hyatt for over 32 years, and both of these fine employees worked at the Hyatt Anaheim on Harbor Boulevard. And I don't know if many of you remember the old Hyatt Anaheim. It's now currently the Plaza Hotel. But once this beautiful flagship hotel opened, of course, they both transferred over here and opened a significant, beautiful project. As you can tell, they both started with Hyatt Hotels when they were 5 years old. So it's great to have them on board with us. But on behalf of the 5 general managers that have been in this hotel since it's been here, many of you might remember them: Jerry Lewin, Paul Scott, Don Schmidt, Pete Sears, Alan Farwell. I'd like to thank you for recognizing our facility, and it's been a true honor for us to be in this community and wonderful city of Garden Grove, and we look forward to another 25 years of successful business in this wonderful city. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Okay, at this time we'll go to oral communications for the council, the successor agency, and the sanitary district. Barbara Singh.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. I'm a business owner and a commercial office condo owner in the city of Garden Grove on 13252 Garden Grove Boulevard. I'm also on the board of the board of that association as well. And my reason to come here is to express my concern for the transients in the city.
Just a minute. Can we get that door shut? I mean, it's really that noisy out there.
My reason to come here is to express my concern about the transients in the city. They have become a very big problem within our area. We've had to call the cops pretty much on a daily basis on them because they come into our office complex and they urinate, defecate, and they also sleep in the garbage trash areas, the bin, and do a lot of drugs even in the garage area as well. Just about yesterday, we had a lady totally belligerent, I mean, yelling and screaming and confronting a lot of people, and we had to, again, call the cops. I mean, this is not a good environment for people who come to our office and for, ourselves as well. Now, with the time going to be changing pretty soon, my concern is the safety of ourselves and our employees who could be sitting around till late. They're living right under the bridge, right after, before Haster going west. I have called on them several times. They've got their carts moving all over. Under the bridge, I do see a lot of tarps hanging down where they've got their belongings and they stay there. On the northwest side of that bridge itself, on the outside, they have made like temporary housing and all. It just doesn't reflect very well, not just on you on the city, but even on us as business owners. So would appreciate some help from the city. I've been speaking to Cindy, who's the community development liaison, and it's just, I mean, she's doing the best she can, but it's just not a nice sight to be seeing somebody yelling and screaming in the courtyard of your office building when you've got clients and people in your office. So my concern is seriously to ask for help, nothing else.
Okay, thank you. We'll have someone look into it. Thank you. Okay, next is Haley McEnany and Catherine Wynn.
Hi, I'm Catherine Wynn, and I'm in 8th grade.
And I am Haley McEnany, and I am in 7th grade. We go to St. Clement School, and we are from Troop 199. We are working on our silver award. We want to paint Main Street store windows on December 1st from 9:30 to 1. We want to spread the joy and get everyone in the spirit of Christmas.
Since most people don't paint their windows as decorations, we want to be different and unique and bring smiles on pedestrians' faces. We will be contacting other troops in Garden Grove to help. Also, each girl will bring small stuffed animals for hugs for kids. Let us know if you are willing to donate any items. We appreciate your time and cooperation and hope this project is a success.
Go ahead, is that it? Do you have a number or anything that you want to give out? Or if you're saying if someone can donate gifts, how do they donate them to you, or where would they donate them?
Contact our troop leader, Ms. Sue.
Okay, contact your troop leader where?
714
Okay.
468
Can you
6826.
say it one more time? 714
468
468
6826.
6826? See, that's why I wanted it again, to get it straight. Okay, well, good luck. I hope everything works out. Good luck. Thanks for being here. Hey, Peggy Bergen.
Peggy Bergen, 34-year resident of Garden Grove. Well, my first comment is about our spotlight people tonight. When my daughter was 5 years old, and the hotel was brand new too, she was in a fashion show through our church up there. So it was a beautiful facility then, and I'm assuming from the few times I've been in there since, it still is. So that's really a good recommendation. Also, I would like to say thank you very much for the proclamation for Mesothelioma Day that was presented here. I believe it was September 25th. Unfortunately, I was on vacation, but I got it in the mail, and I do appreciate that, because every time that word gets out again, someone will ask a question, and maybe we'll get a bit more help. And this might make some of your people's day, or maybe not. This is going to be my last meeting as a resident of Garden Grove. See, surprise. You always thought I could never say anything.
Positive surprise.
Oh, thank you. I'm getting applause here. I like that. No, I am still going to be an owner, so I still will have a more than vested interest in this city. You're not going to get by that easy. But no, I am going to be moving. I decided, because of all the things that, gone on with my husband and all that, it was time our lives took a change, and I figured moving is a change. So that is my big news.
Well, wait a minute. You're not telling us where you're moving.
Orange. So I'm close enough. See, that's what I mean. And then their city council meetings are at 4:30. I can go to those, zip over here on the same night, double duty.
You're close enough that maybe we'll have a moving city council meeting, and we'll go to your house.
Oh, that would be cool, yes. Yeah,
Okay, we'll
that
talk
would
about
work. Okay. Now I have another little topic on one of the items that's on a consent item tonight, 4L for, this was something that's already been approved and seconded and everything else. But it was a final tract map for a subdivision of, I believe it's some god-awful amount, 56 units on Hazard and New Hope. And I read the whole thing twice, and I didn't see any tract map, so I was kind of wondering, is that just a key phrase that explains where the tract map can be found, or should have there been a tract map included? But there was a couple of little comments that I thought were kind of unusual, because this was it said right in the information, that the site was 5.97 acres, which is, let's call it 6 acres. It was a single-family home and with a strawberry stand and vacant property being used to produce strawberries. Well, somehow or another, our biggest and most well-known event of the city is a strawberry festival. And to kind of blatantly say it was vacant property used to grow strawberries, that makes it a very unproductive piece of land. Whenever I buy strawberries, they're not cheap, so that was not an unproductive piece of land up until the time the owner decided to sell it to a developer and turn it into 56 homes. And I always am amazed at PUDs. They always make this, the quality of the project achieved through the proposed planned unit development zoning is greater than could be achieved under the current zoning. Of course, our city forefathers realized you can only pack so many sardines into a can before the can explodes. And somehow or another, the more recent city councils just keep changing the requirements to make more people get in that can. It's not going to work. That's a horrible intersection now, New Hope and Hazard. None of you live near that area, so you have no idea. But you keep approving. The zoning doesn't fit, so you make it a PUD. I find that always very suspicious. I don't like PUDs. I don't like walled communities. And my final comment here is that in 2 weeks, I guess, from today, is Election Day. I do plan on voting, and yes, sirree, I get to vote for this city still. And I am just going to say right up front, I am not voting for any incumbents. I've said if my kids were running, to God or the Pope. I'm not happy with government anywhere, so my rule this year is don't vote for an incumbent. All of our government needs to be changed, and the first place we can change it is our local government. I have nothing against you guys particularly, because I know you're all hard workers and you're doing what you consider to be the best for the city. But I just feel in my own heart of hearts, I want to change, and I have to begin the only way I can. No incumbents. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Bobby Springsteen.
Good evening. My name's Bobby Springsteen. I grew up in Garden Grove. Thanks for hearing me tonight. I'm not sure how aware you are of the Nico Black situation. I'm not sure if I'm the only one here or if I'm the designated spokesperson by any chance or any stretch of the imagination. But I'm hoping to shed light on what's happening right now in our city. Nico Black was illegally removed and evicted from her house against a federal court order that was posted on her door on October 10th by the Orange County Sheriff. She's terminally ill with cancer. She's in a wheelchair. She was dragged out of her home. The Garden Grove Police Department was called with 911 to assist. The short version is Orange County Sheriff said she's just upset because she's being evicted, and the police officers left without checking out the situation. Luckily, a lot of local news radio stations like AM 1150 have heard this case, and they are reporting. An attorney, Stephen, I think his name is Stephen Golden, from the Cochran firm, has now agreed to represent her pro bono. I know the issues here have to do with what you guys have jurisdiction of and what you guys are able to do. It's my understanding that local eviction laws still fall in the hands of local government. And I know in this time of our economy, there's probably a lot of evictions and there's a lot of foreclosures and maybe not some clear guidelines as to how people are removed from their homes. And I know 16 cities in California have adopted a lot fairer eviction laws than the city of Garden Grove. But it's my desire to at least shed light on some of the things that are happening and see if there's something that we can do to put some better laws in place and to at least make sure that before our police and the sheriffs are involved in assisting corporations from illegally removing somebody who's got a right to be there according to a federal court, who's also, and before they go breaking the Disability Act rules and other nameless rules and putting guns in their faces and everything else, that we would do something to protect our citizens. Again, like I said, I'm not an appointed spokesperson. I'm sure there's probably other people. I don't know if this is the first time you've heard of it, but I've known Nico for 25 years. We swam together for Rancho Alamitos High School. She's one of the nicest people I know, and it's really bothersome to me, this case. In fact, it's my understanding that she doesn't even owe the bank money for her house, and there's a big misunderstanding here. So Again, what are you guys to do about it? I think it's mostly just making sure that the laws that are in place and that our resources that are used to protect our citizens and not the banks that come into our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Cosada.
I don't think he heard you.
Mike Cosada.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, and staff, and citizens. My name is Mike Casota, candidate for mayor, and what I'd like to first begin off tonight with is, Mr. Dalton, I would like to let you know that I appreciate the many years that you've done for the city of Garden Grove, your many years in law enforcement, your many years up here on council, whether I agreed or disagreed. Most of the time I agreed. I wish you well in your next chapter. I hope your health and your fun attitude and spirit carries you into the next chapter just warm and welcome. I'd like to bring up a few points, if I may, about some ideas and thoughts and some facts about our city budget. If you're a student, if you're a firefighter, if you're a police officer, if you're a parent, if you're on this council, or if you're in city staff, or you're a citizen, a voter, you need to listen up. Because what I have to talk about here is very important. I attended the Korean Festival last weekend before last. Mr. Broadwater, you're the only one that didn't attend. We missed you.
I had to watch my grandson throw a pass to win a touchdown.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, it was a great festival. Had a good time. I'd like to speak a little bit tonight about the grand jury report of 2011. I'm sure some of you might be familiar with that. It is in regard to ABX 1-26, the dissolvement of redevelopment. 2 years ago when I ran for mayor, I was in favor of shrinking redevelopment. The state finally did it, and this one time, although I don't agree with state politics on a normal basis, I agree that Mr. Governor Brown got it right this time. And I'd like to explain some facts. You all might be interested. Statewide, $550 billion in property tax money, $335 billion of that was removed from our general fund and put in redevelopment. In Orange County, $400 million annually was taken and rediverted into redevelopment annually. In Garden Grove, our wonderful city, $25 million annually in property tax revenue designated for the general fund was removed and put in redevelopment coffers. In Garden Grove, we spent $2.2 million at administrative costs. I'd like to know where that money went and who received it. Garden Grove pays $4 million a year on average and $2 million in interest on a lot of these loans. Mr. Broadwater says hotels give $12 million in general fund a year. He says with the water park we might get $17 million. $25 million a year annually is taken out for property taxes. Now, when I do the math, I see a substantial number greater without redevelopment than I do with redevelopment going into the general fund. Mr. Broadwater also stated at the previous forum 2 weeks ago that we were going to get some more hotels, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the road. We're talking $25 million a year, every year, for how many years have been rediverted to redevelopment? Hundreds of millions of dollars. I'd like to also know where the $17 million was taken from. Housing and given to our developers in the past. Has that been repaid back to our housing? Low-income housing. Has that been repaid back? I have here an article from the Orange County Register. that states, over the years, Garden Grove government too often, in our opinion, has attempted to drive development rather than allow the private sector to stimulate growth. Redevelopment has overtaken private growth. That's why we have Harbor Grove and not Garden Grove. You understand that? Garden Grove has also given sales tax break to select businesses and not to all businesses. Therefore, growth as a whole in the business sector has not happened. The California Republican, which I'm endorsed by, the CRA, goes on to say, it's the flow of money between special interests, our few developers, and the politician creates corruption. I believe we have that.
Well, you kind of wrap it up. Your time is over.
Anyway, I have more to say regarding this, but I hope you folks get the point. No incumbent. We need new leadership. And I'm Mike Casota, and I'm your candidate for mayor, not theirs.
Thank you. Josh McIntosh.
Good evening, Josh McIntosh, fourth generation Garden Grove resident, homeowner and business owner. I want to first off say thanks to the Orange County Register for printing two recent stories that promoted our historical society and Zlackett's Market. These stories could potentially attract more visitors, more businesses to Garden Grove, and we really do need the help. Our local paper, whom I love, Jim back there, thank you, do a great job, can only do so much, so it was nice to have the wider coverage. Last week I was speaking with Cam, our city media master, and the VPTV about an idea for a business spotlight series that could introduce businesses to our residents via our local cable channels. We had a lot of good ideas that night, and we're still working on them. Another idea I'd like to implement would be a citywide database of our local businesses to be listed on our city website. This would be a free service for each business that pays for a city business license. It would include their contact information and a brief description of their services in organized categories. This would give the public, this would advise the public where they would get the services they need and buy them in our city. Perhaps if our incumbents, Mr. Broadwater, Mr. Jones, and Mr. Beard, knew that we had numerous signage companies nearby, they could have adhered to our city slogan of Buy in Garden Grove when they purchased their numerous campaign signs outside of our city. I'm proud to say that all my signs came from Garden Grove small businesses. On the subject of small businesses, I want to bring up an idea that was presented to the Chamber of Commerce that I'm more than willing to support. The idea of a trolley car system that would make scheduled daily trips through Garden Grove from the hotels on Harbor Boulevard to our Main Street and other designated locations. This would get the tourists to spend their time here and, of course, spend more of their money here. The money would be spread around town more than just on Harbor Boulevard, giving our small businesses the well-deserved support that they need. Let's talk about support. Measure Y. The hotel bed tax is intended to bring in additional money to our general fund. The last time we did this was in 2002. Well, after that, we didn't necessarily see the rise in our safety personnel that we had expected. The residents that I've spoken to who say that they're against Measure Y are not only concerned about the competitive tax rates to tourists, but they're not going to use the money for its intended purposes. They seem to be saying that they can only be fooled once on this issue. I've supported Measure Y all along, and I really hope that I'm not being fooled. I'd like to thank some people in this room tonight for their help this past Sunday. Scott Weimer, the tireless volunteer of our Main Street, had asked the usual suspects if they'd be willing to sacrifice some time sanding, prepping, and painting the light poles on Main Street. Charles Mitchell and Chris Van were there to apply some elbow grease, and we got all the poles sanded and 9 of them painted. We hope to have them all completed soon. I'd like to advise the public that we're accepting volunteers and donations for the improvement of our Main Street. If anyone here is interested in helping out, please come see me and I'll get your contact information. And in other volunteering news, I'd like to extend the same invitation to some other nonprofit groups in Garden Grove that I support. If anyone here would like to make a charitable donation to the Garden Grove Historic Society, the Garden Grove High School Alumni Association, or to the Village of Garden Grove, please come see me tonight. Finally, I too would like to thank Mayor Bill Dalton for his years of service in Garden Grove and for taking the time to personally speak with me after the meetings to address the issues that I bring here. I wanted to talk about the Sunshine Ordinance that was recently approved in Santa Ana, but I'm sure I'm too short on time, so I'll get back to that at our next meeting. I hope everyone here will look into the Sunshine Ordinance, see how it is going to help out Santa Ana, and it's something I'd like to see in Garden Grove. My name is Josh McIntosh. I'm running for City Council this year, and I'd like to have your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Peter Katz.
Good evening, everyone. I'm once again here as a member of the Vietnam War Museum Board to let everyone know about our first in a series of speaker series presentations. It would be, the first one would be Thursday, November 8th, 2012, from 6 to 7 p.m. in the Courtyard Center, 12732 Main Street in Garden Grove. And the keynote speaker will be Frans Vandenbroek, who was a Vietnam veteran with the United States Army and won the Distinguished Flying Cross and the Purple Heart as well. And he will be speaking about his career and how, as an immigrant, he immigrated to America and how he gave back serving his country for what they did, accepting open arms, him and his family coming to this country. This weekend, I went to a wonderful play at Rancho Santiago College in Santa Ana. It was called One Soldier's Story. And this play tells you how us Vietnam veterans to this day are still suffering. 3 million soldiers fought in Vietnam. 15% of them still suffer from post-traumatic stress. This one-act play was a story of a girl whose father served in Vietnam, and every time she asked Daddy what happened and what happened in the war, he wouldn't talk about it. That's what us soldiers do. Soldiers don't talk to people who have not been there because they don't understand. They just keep it inside. And because of that, this young girl thought she was doing the right thing, and she went off and enlisted in the Army and served in Afghanistan. We saw some of her friends ambushed and killed. And so she returned suffering the same post-traumatic stress in a war that we fight today. So this museum and this effort that I'm involved in here is going to be not only a tourist attraction on Harbor Boulevard, but it's going to be a wonderful education center and a way to teach people there are better ways to solve our problems than to fight. I mean, we need to take a look at where we've been to know where we're going. I mean, the great thing about democracy is we can all disagree. We can have different ideas, but when the election is over, we come together for the benefit of our community, and that distinguishes us differently from the rest of the world. And I think that that's the secret of democracy. You can create a lot of committees and get the community involved. Fullerton, for example, has 13 citizen advisory committees, yet they're at war with their police. Costa Mesa is at war with their employees. Anaheim is at war with its citizens. Cities that unite and councils that work together for the benefit of everyone, that's what democracy is all about. So this is what we need to do. People talked about Las Vegas, that the Strip would never stretch the way it did. People would not go to Las Vegas. Who wants to go to hundreds of hotels? Look at that great entertainment capital. If we could come back 100 years from now, I envision from Disneyland to Costa Mesa, nothing but hotels, tourists coming from around the world, staying not 1 week, but 2, 3, 4, spending their money here, creating jobs in all of these communities, not just Anaheim and Garden Grove, but Santa Ana now is looking at developing Harbor Boulevard. So is Costa Mesa. And why are they doing that? They're looking at it with jealousy towards the cities that are making money and helping to pay their police and their fire services. So look at the cities of Stanton and Westminster. They're broke. I mean, they have nothing. I mean, we have something to offer. $2 million bed tax to $12 million. We're doing a lot with $10 million. Maybe we don't spend it the way it should be in some cases. But boy, if you didn't have that $10 million, where would Garden Grove be today? You have cities like Santa Ana that had to sell off their fire department that in order to keep from going bankrupt. You have cities like Stockton, Bakersfield. I mean, come on, take a look at it and see who's paying for all these services that we have. You know, it's not the private citizens, not small businesses. People are broke. And you look at the homeowners here, we have another problem coming because these houses are turning into rentals. 1 out of every 3 Americans who own a home that are not in foreclosure owe more than 125% of their home's value. So we have to take a look at a lot of neighborhoods are becoming rentals, and that's causing problems. It's increasing crime. Crime for the first time in 20 years is on the rise. And so we need to develop whatever business we can and capitalize on the tourist dollar, because whether we like it or not, this world is becoming a tourist trap, and there's no reason why we can't take advantage of it. So come and support the museum. Come to the speaker event. It's just the first of many. Thank you.
Thank you. Charles Mitchell.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council and staff. Mayor Dalton, I want to congratulate you on all your years of service to the city. We're going to miss you. I hope you'll be around to at least keep the rest of these people in line once in a while. I have a question. Have any of you ever been to jail? I know that Mayor Dalton has, because as a police officer, he probably had to visit them many times. But that's one of the things that you will do if you're a member of the Orange County Grand Jury. It's one of the duties to look at the jails, to look at the facilities in the county and make sure that things are done right. Now, at the last council meeting, there were a couple of people here talking about serving on the grand jury. Well, I served on the grand jury from 2009 to 2010. I'm sorry, from 1999 to 2000. My wife was on the last grand jury, and the experience is remarkable. Because it isn't just sitting down and doing a lot of paperwork and putting out reports that maybe some people don't agree with. There was a report that went out on redevelopment. The city of Garden Grove didn't like the situation that was presented in that report, but that's entirely up to them to respond in whichever manner they feel is appropriate. But there's a lot of facts that are brought out in these reports, and a lot of reports never get written. The reason they don't get written is because people serving on the grand jury go to these various agencies and they sit down and talk to people about a reported problem. And during that discussion, I have experienced it myself, that once in a while a question will come up, and whether it's somebody from the grand jury or one of the people working for that agency, the idea will come up, well, wonder if we tried doing this. Or maybe somebody from a grand jury will ask if they tried doing one particular thing. Suddenly the entire atmosphere in that room will change. People will realize there are alternatives to the way things are being done. And the next thing you know, in a week, there'll be a little column in the Orange County Register that says this particular agency has made some changes that are going to make a remarkable difference in how things are done. Nothing is ever mentioned about the grand jury having visited. But that's the way it is. That's the way it should be. The grand jury is there to serve the people of Orange County. Now, it's a one-year obligation if you decide you want to apply for the grand jury, and it's a 5-day-a-week job, and the pay is $50 a day. That's not a lot of money, but the satisfaction you get from serving the people of this county and the experience that you will get in going to various places and seeing how the county operates and what people do and how they do their jobs is something that will stay with you for the rest of your life. So if you're able to put in 1 year's time starting July 1st and going till the next July, then I encourage you to look into applying to serve on the next grand jury. That'll start next July, and you'll serve for a year, but you will never forget the experiences that you will have. You can go online, look it up, Orange County Grand Jury, and get all the information. Thank you.
Thank you. Tony Flores.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff. My name is Tony Flores. Yes, congratulations, Mr. Dalton, and thanks for serving. I'm sure we'll have a chance to talk after you've stepped down off the dais, and we'll go have maybe a beer or so. It was nice to campaign for you back in '98 with the big signs on the van and whatnot. And I actually have some of the neighbors asking me where are my signs now? Who am I supporting? And sad fact is, I'm not supporting any candidates just right now. And I too, I'm saying out with all incumbents. But thanks again for your time. You put a different attitude in City Hall, and we do thank you. Moving on. Last time I was here, we had talked about some of the zoning changes and whatnot, and myself and a few other citizens had sent some information to the DA's office, came back and said there was no harm, no foul type of deal. Now, just because the DA doesn't file doesn't mean a crime wasn't committed. With Mr. Jones there, it's true that he sits on the dais, and it's true that he helps change zoning, and it's true that he has an interest, at least according to the minutes, with developers. And I had a chance to speak with the DA's office again. There was some information that wasn't sent. The information that was sent was done off our investigation. It was given to the PD. The PD didn't really do an investigation. They just sent it forward. I'll be doing some more investigation and sending some additional information to the DA's office, and maybe we'll be revisiting the potential issues that exist. Mr. Broadwater, coming back again. Kind of like Richard Nixon, coming back again. Well, you're on there, and I do have some questions, and one of the things I'm hoping that changes is that I hope that you change in the leadership. I think there's no doubt with, and you mentioned it in one of the forums, that it's money that wins, and it normally is. It is the money that wins. If it wasn't money that wins, I'd probably be sitting right over there. And maybe a different attitude in the City Hall. Not that some of it isn't good, but other changes that can be made. But I have a question. If, in fact, that you do become mayor again, my concern is that back in '97, a discrimination study was done, and apparently the study confirmed that there was harassment of women and discrimination of minorities in the police department. I had a chance to talk with Mr. George Tyndall back then. I'm looking at his June 4th, 1997 memo. And, of course, Chief Nee did a memo as well where he talked about the same thing on May 14th, '97. The council approved it. The citizens paid for it. I wanted to see that report. I've been asking for quite some time. I sent a letter, 2 letters, back in June of 2011. The city basically says it has been determined that the city does not have any documents responsive to my question, which has to do with the harassment discrimination study. And it appears by the virtue that this has been swept under the carpet. Do you condone harassment of women and discrimination of minorities? I hope you don't. But if I'm wrong, I'd like to see this report that says I'm wrong. So I'm hoping to see that. In any case, but you too, we can say thank you too for your time on the council. Maybe it's time for you to move on so Garden Grove can move forward. And if that sounds familiar, that's because that's what you told Mr. Denson back in '98. Okay? And we know what happened there with the appointments coming in. Mr. Beard, you're running. You live in West Garden Grove, but I've seen some of your flyers, but I didn't see you when we got together and formed the West Garden Grove Residents Association on the Rossier School. I didn't see you around when our homes flooded. I didn't see you when there was a Manly Lamson project, and I spent many an evening with people in their homes. I didn't see you with the Holder Street Bridge project, helping people in the east end of town when they almost lost their homes. I didn't see you when we formed the Central Garden Grove Neighborhood Association. I'm hoping you're going to be a little more active, but again, I'm not supporting any one candidate, but I just question what's happening because I'm looking at the sample ballot, and your name is next to Mr. Broadwater saying we want to increase hotel visitors tax, Measure Y, which I believe Measure Y is a lie. We shouldn't be going that road because we already did this back in 2002 when it was supposed to be $2 million under Measure N. Don't know where those monies went, and we certainly have not increased the number of police officers to meet our authorized staffing. So I think we have some questions there. But I do believe that whether it be here, Sacramento, or D.C., we do need to change out the incumbents, and we do need to get a better representation. Get rid of the politicians and give us representative. Good evening. God bless America.
Thank you. Rob Powell.
All right, hi, my name is Rod Powell, and I was not going to come down here tonight, but then I realized this is the last meeting, I think, before the election. So here I am. And I got a, slate mailer a week ago, and the slate mailer had pictures of Bruce Broadwater, Steve Jones, and Chris Beard, and something to the effect of, we need a council where everyone goes along with each other. Is that how it was worded?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Y'all go along. I might have said get along, but I think it's the same difference. Right?
Come on.
And
Rod, come on. You know what the rules are. Okay?
What are the rules?
The rules are that you address me. There's no dialogue up here, okay? And that's the way it is. Now,
Well, you won't be able to do this to me much longer.
You have 5 minutes, and I'm always very courteous. In fact, if you watch, I usually give everybody a little extra time, and then I tell them to
You're
wrap
good
it up.
about that.
But let's you want to talk, address me, because
Are you saying I cannot look at Steve Jones? How on earth am I supposed to communicate? And you're telling me I have to eyeball you and not even give eye contact to Steve Jones or Chris Beard? Is that what you're telling me?
Let's quit the games and just.
It's not games. That's ridiculous.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to continue on, and my eyes are going to go where they happen to go. I'm not mad dogging anybody. I'm just trying to state the facts here. This is ridiculous that you've interrupted me like
You're
this.
wasting your time, and I just assume that you do waste it, but I'm trying to be polite and give you every opportunity.
You don't know how to be polite, Mayor Dalton.
Okay.
You really don't. You've interrupted me. You've messed up my flow of concentration. The bottom line is I'm going to stick with this subject. And we have 3 people on a slate mailer that go along with each other, and it's been, this is a conspiracy that's been going on for a long time. It's a conspiracy when you appoint somebody, and they're basically unknowns that all of a sudden go along with you, right? Now, I can't look at Bruce when I say that, correct? I mean, how ludicrous is this? You're telling me I cannot look at somebody else? You really like to control people, don't you, Mayor Dalton? I'm going to look where I want. If you want to kick me off here, you kick me off.
I told you couldn't look, so just go.
Okay, I'm going to continue on. There's not much else to say. I'm disgusted that the politics in this city is such that we have one person, and you included, Mayor Dalton, and Bruce Broadwater, who are hand-picking our appointees because they go along with you, B, they're not going to defeat you as easily at the next election. It's ridiculous what's going on in this city. It's been going on since I've been interested in following politics at all, something I never was interested in until the last decade. And what I've seen it makes me realize I didn't go through a lot of stress until then. It was my life. I didn't until I realized how crooked politics is, and I had not this stress. So I think it should be said that this is not right. We should have had someone picked that was higher. There was ex-mayors running, when Steve Jones was appointed to that council seat. We had the ex-mayor of Garden Grove who was completely dismissed without a thought. We had people that were highly qualified that were desirous of being on this council. Why did they not have a chance? Why do we have someone that's a go-along because you want a go-along council? I mean, are we safe in this city with these go-alongs? That's really what we are interested in any political appointee, like they said on the national level. They're interested in safety. That's first and foremost. And do I feel safe, with people that have only been put up here because they go along with the agenda that someone has? There must be an agenda, or you wouldn't go through such effort to appoint people that go along with you. So I am not going to say who I voted for. I'll say who I didn't vote for. I didn't vote for any of you three. Thank you very much.
Okay, at this time, I'll close oral communications. Yeah, Mr. Broadwater.
Let's deal with the $25 million from the redevelopment agency. The state of California come along, got their hands on every dime they could take away from us, and it come out to $14 million. Now, where you get $25 million, I have no clue. And because in 1994, we had a new mayor in this city, and the city was going broke at that time, and that mayor got up in the Hyatt Alicante, which we said hi to tonight. They even mentioned the guy named Paul Scott was in charge of the Hyatt Alicante. And that new mayor says we don't have a shopping center like the Westminster Mall. We don't have a shopping center like South Coast Plaza. We don't have anything that will bring money in except we have one thing that's going for us, and we need to take advantage of it. And that was our close proximity to Disneyland. And we took one hotel, doubled the size of that hotel because half of it was an office building, and added another 8 or 9 hotels and brought in $13 million a year to the general fund. It didn't go to anywhere else but the general fund. And we have a chance to do that again. In my opinion, that mayor was me and a great guy. I liked him very much. And we made it work. And if you want to be the mayor, fine. Work hard at it. But get involved in it and get your figures right. That's all I have to say.
Okay, at this time, I'll recess the council, and we'll go to the successor agency.
Thank you. I'll call the October 23rd Successor Agency meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you like to call roll?
Member Broadwater?
Here.
Member Dalton?
Here.
Member Wynn?
Here.
Vice Chair Beard?
Here.
Chair Jones?
Here. We already did oral communication simultaneously with City Council, so we'll go to consent items, basically just the meeting minutes from the last several meetings.
Move it.
Second.
Call to vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
We have no public hearings, no items for consideration, any matters from members. Seeing none, we're adjourned back to City Council.
Okay, at this time, we'll go to the Sanitary District and let the record show that all members are present. We'll go to consent items.
Move to approve.
Finish it up.
Well, I have to tell you what we're laughing at up here. For so long, I was in charge of that segment that I automatically call it to order, and someone the last time we reappointed was assigned that. So we're laughing at it here. We're not laughing at anybody out there. We're laughing at it here because I made a mistake going ahead to run it. But now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Broadwater.
Did we do consent items?
So moved.
Have a motion.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Okay, we now have no public hearings. We have no items for consideration. Any matters from board members or general manager? Hearing none at this time, we will adjourn for 3 weeks, isn't it?
Yes. Well, 5 weeks.
Oh, you're right, absolutely, 5 weeks.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to recess the council. In celebration of Councilman Beard's birthday, we have a cake that we're sharing, and you're all invited to have a piece of cake. So we'll recess for that. meeting. Is this on? Okay, now, this time I'd like to reconvene the city council meeting and let the record show that all members are present, and we'll go to consent items.
Mr. Mayor, it's recommended that items 4A through 4M be acted on simultaneously unless a separate discussion is requested by a council member.
What's your pleasure?
Oh, move the consent items.
Second.
I have motion and second. Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Okay, public hearings.
Mr. Mayor, your first public hearing is to consider protest regarding the fall 2012 weed abatement notices, and Sabrina Soltis is here to give a staff report on this item.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, twice a year the Fire Department initiates the city's weed abatement program, and there are 3 steps, which include the Council's declaration of a public nuisance, a public hearing after the notice to clear lots are sent to the property owners, and a public hearing after lots are cleared and invoices are unpaid by the property owners. The purpose of tonight's public hearing is the second step for a public hearing to be held regarding the notices that were sent to property owners in September. It is recommended that council receive testimony from members of the public and take the appropriate action, and those actions would be to uphold any objections and direct staff as to how the council would like to respond to said objections, to overrule the objections and direct staff to proceed with the weed abatement process, or if there are no objections, direct staff to proceed with the weed abatement process. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Okay, hearing none, I'll open a public hearing on that matter. Is anyone here who would like to speak on it? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, and I'll entertain a motion.
Move the recommendation.
Second that.
I have a motion, a second. Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
5B.
Mr. Mayor, 5B is a public hearing to consider a development agreement for a residential project proposed by the Olson Company. And Susan Emery is here to give a staff report on this item.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. On September 20th, the Planning Commission approved the site plan and tentative tract map for a 17-unit small lot subdivision located on Trask Avenue, just east of New Hope Street. The site is currently improved with 2 single-family homes and 1 vacant lot, 3 lots there. The site is zoned R3, as are the adjoining east and west properties, though the lots to the north are zoned R1 and are improved with single-family homes. The project developer is Olson Urban Housing, and the project includes 17 single-family homes ranging in size from about 1,466 to 1,759 square feet. The lot sizes range from about 2,600 to 4,300 square feet and include 16-foot driveways and 15-foot rear yards. A common open space area is provided, which is 3,400 square feet and includes passive space and a playground. The site complies with code for all landscaping requirements. The development fronts on Trask Avenue, and it does not include a security gate. A total of 64 parking spaces are provided, including resident and guest spaces. The action before you this evening is consideration of the development agreement, DA 186-12. The Planning Commission recommends the City Council conduct a public hearing and introduce the first reading of the ordinance regarding Development Agreement 186-12 for Site Plan SP 46912 and Tentative Tract Map TT 17461 that reads as follows. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Grove adopting Development Agreement number DA 186-12 between the City of Garden Grove and Olson Urban Housing, LLC, and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement and make minor modifications appropriate hereto on behalf of the city. That concludes my presentation. We do have a representative of Olson here, Mr. John Reekson, if you have any questions for him.
Do you want to address now, or you want to wait till?
At your pleasure.
Why don't you wait?
Sure.
Only because I want any questions that are brought up, I don't want to be bouncing back and forth. Okay, Josh McIntosh. I'll open a public hearing at this time and call those that fill out a card. Josh McIntosh. Tony Flores. Tony Flores. Peggy Bergen.
I might have seen the speaker at the Planning Commission. But basically, I'm here with my normal, everyday complaints. The project might be nice, might improve the property, but we're going to once again have more or less blank space along a street, walls, if not walls, big bushes. So that's not an improvement, really. And when I was at the Planning Commission meeting, a traffic study was not done because was determined not 50 trips during peak hours. Well, basically, there's two houses full of people. That means 20 trips a day is their average expected. So how could there be 50 trips? Anyways, now, but you figure there's going to be 17 houses. That's going to give us 8 to 10 per unit. That means there's going to be close to 170 vehicles emerging or going off of Trask. That is a horrible corner as it is now. So how can it not impact the traffic that exists already? And also, the lot size, like they said, was between 2,700 and roughly 4,000 square feet with big houses on them, which means you've got a garage with a second story and all of that. But Garden Grove was set up to have larger lots. Now, I would not really be here quite so annoyed if this was a 12-unit or 14 units. That's like doubling, tripling, quadrupling what's on this. But we're looking at less than 2 acres, and that's 17 homes. That's horrifying. I mean, you are 6 feet away from basically, your houses are from here to there apart. So you better not move in next door to someone that likes their windows open and fight, because you will be able to write a novel of your own. You know, it's very, very close. All these houses are being built very, very close together, basically taking away a lot of your privacy. I've heard the issue, well, we don't put the windows next to each other. I've gone to the open houses or when they're selling them, and this will be 1 bedroom and this will be 1 bedroom. That means in the summertime when it's hot, you can't afford to keep your air conditioning running 24/7 because your bedrooms are all upstairs where it's already going to be hotter. So you have to open your windows, and you're opening your windows right to be visible by somebody else's window. And also the parking issue is once again, the 64 parking spaces are divided between garages, the driveways, and maybe 8 or 10 other parking spaces. There is no parking on Trask at all. So where are the visitors for these people? Are we building communities of people that live in their separate little cells, never having anyone come and visit? I will say my new home, it has an entire street of parking next to my house, and I am within a couple of houses away from a school, which they say on the weekends, people come to visit you, they can park in that. I can still have my family gatherings with everyone driving separately, not having to carpool and come visit me. But that's not a good corner for that many new trips coming and going off of Trask, unless you decide, once again, you're going to put another flippin' median down the street and make it impossible for anyone to go anywhere except right. Our whole city is full of right turns. You drive through Orange, my new city, Fullerton, Tustin. There's not a median on every main or semi-main street. They figure you have enough intelligence if you're driving a car, you don't want to drive straight into somebody else. We have medians put everywhere, so you can't get from one side of the street to the other. Now you're going to impact this by putting another 17 units. As I said, if it was a little less dense, I probably wouldn't mind quite so much. But it's very dense housing, once again. And it's once again with one of our very popular people that come in, and they're very seldom turned down for one reason or another. So I'm not quite sure why. But I don't even think they are Garden Grove or Orange County based. I cannot swear to that. I have not researched that. I'm very sorry. But I do not believe they are out of our city, let us say. and they always say they employ locals. Well, I don't see any signs out asking for come people that are in this area come look for a job. So they did comment at the meeting, though. Traffic never came up at the resident meeting. And density, screening, privacy issues were the ones that came up. So I always bring up the traffic and the parking just because that is a pet peeve of mine. And but they did bring up a lot of my other ones, the density of the project, the screening, and the privacy issues. I mean, you can only get so close to your neighbors because all of you, no offense, live on big lots. Thank you.
Okay, Josh, I called you twice and you weren't here, but I am going to let you do it, so kind of make it quick, okay?
Again, thank you very much. Okay, Josh McIntosh. And I just had 3 concerns before a contract is approved with the Olson Company for this project. One of the concerns is similar to Peggy's with the local hiring. I would encourage the Olson Company to make a serious effort to hire locally some Garden Grove residents. I'm sure we've got some unemployed qualified people that could take those jobs in helping to build it. Number 2, I'd like them to consider some sort of community benefit agreement, whereas they would donate to a local nonprofit such as our Historic Society or our vacant gem theater. We're allowing this company to make considerable amount of money once again from our tax dollars, and I would like them to give back to the community. That would be a great move on their part. And third, I'd like to make sure that we are not stuck footing the bill for water, soil monitoring, or anything else that will end up on our obligated payment schedule, as one of their previous projects. This past year we had to pay $100,000 to that. We got stuck with the bill, and what did the community get out of it? Nothing. So these are considerations I'd like the council to consider or postpone agreeing on this contract. Possibly we could get a better deal out of this, and that's what the people of Garden Grove deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing for that portion. John Reese, would you please come up and it's your turn now.
Thank you,
And
sir.
the reason I did it this way, too, is I wanted you to hear what some of the concerns were so you can address them rather than go back and forth.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Mayor Dalton and council members. First of all, my name is John Reekston with the Olson Company. I want to thank
You
your
could have
staff.
said whatever you wanted. John would have been blamed. Okay.
Absolutely. I want to thank your staff. They did an outstanding job, as always, in processing this community, and we appreciate their professionalism. We did hold 2 community meetings. None of the immediate community members are here this evening. I think that's a testimony to the work we did with them, along with the staff, to design the project in a manner that minimizes impacts on them. The density of our proposed project is substantially less than that which was approved previously on the site, which I think went a long way with the neighbors surrounding the area. An initial study was done assessing all the environmental impacts and was determined that no additional studies were necessary. And we look forward to building a top quality project here in the city of Garden Grove, as we have in the past, and look forward to future opportunities to do the very best job we can to enhance the community in partnership with each one of you and with your staff. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Do you have a business card?
I believe I do.
I'm hearing a lot about, I'm talking to him now. I'm hearing a lot about, it sounds to me like people don't realize we have a cultural arts fee. And I'm hearing, nobody seems to know that we have a cultural arts fee. And everybody that does build in this community has to pay the cultural arts fee. How much money did these guys have to pay? Where's your card? Keep working at that.
I don't know if we've got that number off the top of our head, but you're right. Any development in the city contributes to the cultural arts fee. There's a arts and public places fee, and now with the residential development, we have a park and lieu fee. I think it's $5,500 a lot goes into the park fee. So $5,500 times 17.
Because what I'm reading in the paper doesn't acknowledge any of that. you know. So anyway, that's good to know.
Do each one of these have two-car driveways? Or just one? Do you know?
Each of the units has a two-car garage, and I believe each of the units, Susan, are each of these two-car driveways? I'm trying to recall. Yeah, they each have a two-car driveway, along with the two-car garage. And it will have a homeowners association, and our experience is that the parking in the garages is very strictly enforced by the homeowners association. They don't want residents filling their garages with clutter and parking on the street. They do a good job in protecting their home values by doing that.
I just wanted to point out that the way our small lot residential code reads, you only get credit for one car in the driveway,
That's
even
correct.
though you're actually providing a two-car wide
That's
driveway.
correct.
So although it says you're providing 64 spaces, you're in fact providing an extra 17.
Correct.
That for a total of 81.
For guest parking.
Yeah. Just in total of 81 instead of 64.
Right.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, comments? Motions?
Well, I'd like to say that, you know, I looked at the property and looked at that. I think it's going to be an asset to Trask Avenue. I don't think it's going to be the other way direction. I mean, Peggy's got this thing that people, she's got no privacy versus no home. I mean, when it comes right down to it, I mean, the United States of America had 1 million people living on the East Coast when it formed the United States of America. Today we have 250 million people. I mean, it's a good thing that some houses were built during that period of time, or there wouldn't be anywhere for anybody to live. Petaluma, is that the name of that city up north? Decided that they were going to have no more building, no more increase in the size of their property. Now, my opinion at that time was, well, what are they going to do with their children? You know, are they going to have everybody neutered so that there'll be no growth in children, or no growth in families? I mean, these people have to live somewhere. And I think that's going to be an improvement to Trask Avenue, and it's just going to be a good thing, not a bad thing. As you can see, I'm voting for it.
Okay, is that a motion?
It is.
Do I have a second? I have a motion, a second, call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Okay. I think that's just about everything, isn't it?
Yes.
And Mr. Broadwater, we're starting to go in the round table here.
It's really been a fast week. It's been next 2 weeks from tonight. The election will be over. I will be glad. I don't care whether I win, lose, or draw. I just want it over with, and it'll be fun. So whatever happens, happens.
Ms. Wynn?
Yes, I want to remind everyone to come out and vote. Also, it's Halloween time coming up. Buy your candies in Garden Grove, buy your costumes in Garden Grove, and trick or treat in Garden Grove. That's it, and have a good Halloween.
Thank you. Mr. Jones?
Yeah, just happy birthday to Chris and his wife Cheryl.
They both have a birthday?
Yeah.
All right. We didn't have to have a cake for her, though.
Yeah, next week.
That's why he ate 2 pieces.
Yes, very good.
Eating for 2.
Okay.
And happy Halloween to everybody. We have a cool program coming up this Friday at Atlantis Park for the families and the kids. I think it's starting at 5:30, so I'll be there. Hopefully we'll get a good turnout.
I will be there.
Mr. Beard?
Well, happy Halloween to all. Thank you for the cake. I really appreciated it. And happy birthday to my wife. Thank you.
Okay, well, first of all, for me, happy birthday to you two. I want to pass something out. I recently met with Danny Watkins, who's a commander of a military Order of the Purple Heart in Orange County. The nonprofit service organization is comprised of veterans who were wounded serving our country. The group seeks to promote patriotism and provide support and service to the combat wounded, as well as all veterans and their families. As part of this effort, the organization seeks to help designate Purple Heart cities, counties, and states as a means of honoring those who had served and sacrificed for their country. This is an honorary designation which is made through a proclamation of the City Council, and there is no associated costs. To promote the designation, the group works with cities to help get signs placed on local highways or a plaque placed on a city building. Presently, California is designated as a Purple Heart state, and about 20 California cities are designated as Purple Heart cities. It seems to be a worthy endeavor that fits with the city's values, and therefore I'd like to recommend, if I can, or have to bring it back, but that we ask staff to prepare a proclamation for City Council consideration that would designate Garden Grove as a Purple Heart city. Just to let you know where I met this gentleman, Danny Watkins, the commander, recently Loretta Sanchez had an event at the Elks Lodge, and it was dealing with veterans, all veterans. And they had a booth there, and I started talking to them and finding out what they do. And I think in some ways it's a little reminder to us that so many people have been forgotten, that maybe we need a little plaque somewhere here, or we need a little more. And this also, you know, I'm not sure how, but could roll into the museum that we're talking about too. I mean, because we're still dealing with veterans and all. And if I can propose that at this point for a resolution, or I don't know if I have to wait and do it next time, but I'd like to get it done for them.
Got 4 votes to do it?
Okay, I move that we
Put it on, ask the question?
To put it on the agenda.
For tonight. 4 votes will do it.
So first thing is ask for 4 votes.
Okay.
Support your motion.
Okay. Do I have 4 votes?
Aye.
1, 2, 3, 4 plus.
Put it on for the next time, put it on for tonight.
Bring it back.
Yeah, to bring it back.
Bring it back. Could we bring it back in the
We could
form of
do
resolution?
that without voting.
Could we bring it back in the form of a resolution and pass it that night then?
Yes, it will bring it back.
Okay, so that can all be handled next council meeting?
Right.
Okay, thank you. It's you know, again, as I said, it might deal nicely with the Moore Museum we're talking about too.
Put it
because
up, we
we're
can put it
dealing
on
with
the
all
wall over there, sure.
Okay, that's it for me. And I promise not to steal your sanitary district again. I don't know what got into me. I'll adjourn this meeting till the next regular meeting of the council, Tuesday, November 13th, 2012, at 5:30 p.m. here in the council chambers. Thank you.